What's up, guys? It is Sleeve here with Crimson Media Radio, here on a late Monday, and I apologize for that. Shut up. Oh, you know what's going on here. That's the live preview from the web. Okay, so good. It's working. Everybody's tuning in. My name is Sleeve, and the web frame rate right now is just a little bit off, just simply because I had to adjust for my lights back here. The sun is down, so unfortunately it's a little too late for me to use the headlights right now. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and try and focus on the music and not too much on the camera here right now. But yeah, actually, you know what? This looks terrible. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this just for everybody's benefit at home. Once again, my name is Sleeve, and this is Crimson Media Radio, and we are broadcasting live from Los Angeles, here to tell you about the Billboard Music Awards that were this weekend. Let me go ahead and try and switch over here. You know what? Much better. Much better. It's not that great. All right, anyways, let me switch that over here since we're not seeming to have much better luck with the other version. Cool. All right. Flashing is gone. All right. My name is Sleeve, and I am coming back from Las Vegas trying to put together a podcast right now because I have a few things to tell you about the Billboard Music Awards that happened this weekend. It was a fun time. I had a good time. I stayed at the Aria right next door to the Cosmopolitan Hotel where the Billboard Music Awards was being held, and I actually bumped into a few celebrities, but I don't know. I can't take my picture with people most of the time. I feel like if I'm doing that I'm just being kind of like a douchebag. And yeah, so I just tried to steer clear of all that. I tried to stick to my A game right there. I tried to just, stick with me and my crew. And we had a good time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Usually when we go to Vegas, we go shooting, we go race car driving. We try to hit the spa. We hit the strip club. We do a lot of those types of things. And honestly, this is the first Vegas trip, besides the Billboard Music Awards, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. This is the first one where I feel like our luck did not fully pan out in all the ways that I was hoping that they would. I'm going to get to all that in just a minute. But yeah, let me go ahead and go by the first two items of the day because this is very important to the development of Crimson Media Radio right here. By the way, I'm noticing the frame rate is perfect, so anyways, I just had to double check to make sure that the broadcast wasn't terrible. So anyways, what's going on here is that we have two things under development right now that I really hope that you guys can help contribute to. One of those things is that we are trying to build our YouTube presence. Now, the YouTube presence I haven't really been pushing too much because I've been trying to get all of the pieces into play. YouTube's kind of like a different game altogether than what I've been doing on Facebook. I'm very good at promoting stuff on Facebook anyways, but on YouTube it's a little bit trickier. I feel like there's a very specific way to do it. You have to do subscription clips at the end. You have to set up buttons. You kind of have to set up your channel to look pretty and all that fun stuff. So I had to figure out how to make that adjustment. So anyways, this is the YouTube channel so far. Let me go ahead and show it to you right now. You can oops. There we go. Yeah, so this is the YouTube channel so far. YouTube channel, the playlist is only consistent of entire episodes right now, but now that I have all the animations together, I'm going to start putting together more content. So the point of that ramble right there is that all the people who have been on the show, I'm really going to start making clips for people to check out on your own pages. For example, if you've been interviewed on the show, then you can take a small clip from YouTube and go ahead and put it on your own page. It's great press. And plus, it'll get people more of an insight into what your band's all about. I try to give good interviews, and I think I've done a halfway decent job so far. So, yeah, thanks for, everybody who's contributed. And please add the YouTube channel. I'm going to put the link up for it after I play the first artist here. Don't want to get too caught up in all of the, all the monotony of just trying to press all the right buttons right now. So I'll wait until the first track is playing. Thank you very much. All right, moving on. We have the YouTube channel, but the second thing that we have going on, and this is not going live yet, but I wanted to tell everybody about this. I talked a little bit about it on a Facebook Live session, but what I have going, and this is something I'm really excited about because this is how we're going to be able to grow the company right here. We have the Patreon that's going to be going live in probably about a month or two. Now, what the Patreon is that when you see, those are once again my vacation photos. I'll get to those in just a sec. Now, what Patreon is Patreon allows people to give either a small or, a mid-sized amount to content creators in order to help fund them and do, their art legitimately. And pretty much, sometimes this is how companies grow. Now, in my case, I have a podcast and, it's just me working on it. But one of the things I've really been dedicated to is like putting the focus on other artists. And I really want to make sure that everybody who, gets on here gets a legitimate team who can represent them and help the social media element. So, one of the goals for the company is to hire more people, get more writers. Definitely we want to get like a social media manager so we can keep in touch with everybody. And, there's a few ways that I want to grow the company. We're going to lay those out more substantially. But this is the Patreon that we're going to do. Now, if you're not familiar with Patreon, what Patreon is like I said, you give small amounts and then you get premium content. So with Crimson Media, it's not going to be any different. You're going to get premium content for the show, so that means there are going to be more clips you're going to get. You're going to get personal messages from me as I hire more people. You're going to get to be able to interact with the community. And everybody who's a Patreon, I really want to stress this, everybody who contributes money to the show is going to get priority, say in how this show is going to turn out. I only say this because honestly, the show is a community-based thing. It's only driven by the people who contribute music to the show. So everybody who is a Patreon is especially important because you're pretty much making the show happen and you're growing Crimson Media. There's all sorts of exciting ways that we're going to grow the company. I'm going to outline them very clearly on the Patreon. So that's something I'm going to be posting about in the coming days. And also the other thing, and on top of the Patreon, we're also going to have the Crimson Media store coming up pretty soon. And I'm excited about that because it's just going to have some cool swag for you if you like the Crimson Media logo or you're a fan of the show. If you ever want to go and be interviewed by the show and you actually have a t-shirt, you'll impress the holy shit out of me, that's for sure. So yeah, be sure that you check out the store when we post that too. We're gonna have the mug for Crimson Media. It's gonna be called the Major Label Tears mug. It's gonna be really awesome, and a few other pieces of gear as well. So check it out. We're gonna be posting the Patreon and the Crimson Media store in the coming days. Trust me, if you contribute to both of these, you're doing the company a huge favor. You really like contributing to a community that I really want to make sure focuses on artists and really gives top-notch quality broadcast and products to offer. So, like I said, coming days, you support it, you'll be my new best friend. I promise you that. Oh, and by the way, you can see my cat sleeping right there. He decided to spend the show with us. And he's no doubt going to want to leave pretty soon too. So we'll see how long that lasts. These cats, they're fickle. All right, so moving on. That's all the updates for Crimson Media right now. We're going to move right along to the main story, which is the Billboard Music Awards. But first, I just wanted to show you some stuff for my vacation because I'm just that kind of person. Now, I was staying at the Aria Hotel, and you can see that right here. The Aria Hotel was honestly kind of nice. But like I said, usually when I go to Vegas, I have a top-notch experience. And I don't just mean to sound cocky, but honestly, every time that I've ever gone to Vegas, it's been perfect. I've won money when I've put it down on the table. I've been able to have great luck when we're just going out. The service has always been perfect. They didn't have any problems with the amenities or anything like that. And this time I was particularly excited because my crew and I had rented a cabana. I was so excited about that because, honestly, most of the time you go out by the pool, it's super crowded. You don't have those pimp accommodations that you always want, and I will use that word pimp quite liberally because that's exactly what I wanted to feel like. I wanted to be on the side of the pool with all of my, chairs, the cabana. They have a TV or a refrigerator, someone to bring you food and drink. It was just going to be amazing. Well, anyways, I'll get to the heartbreak of that in just a second. We get to the Aria, it's it takes about an hour and a half to check in. It's total bullshit. And the lady actually overcharges my credit card by almost $700. Ugh. So anyways, I didn't have much room for anything else because she did that on the weekend, and then all of a sudden all my money's up in limbo. Anybody who has a credit card knows what I'm talking about. It was really, really crap. So we had a lot of our money eaten up just right away because of that. So anyways, moving right along, we get into the room. We have a pretty good first few nights. We drink a lot. And then the Billboard Music Awards happens next door. Now this is what's interesting is I was walking next door to the Cosmo to have dinner because I didn't have tickets to go to the Billboard Music Award, but obviously if it's right next door, I was going to go check it out and I was going to go see who's who. I walk down the hallway, and guess who I bump into? It's fucking not Chester Bennington. Mike Soroto, is that his name? Sonoto. Damn it. That guy's name is hard to pronounce. The guy from Linkin Park is the point. The guy with the beard, and he does like some of the rap parts and stuff like that. Yeah, I bumped into him when I was just like walking around, and yeah, Chester Bennington, I could see him like in the crowd, but I didn't have the guts to approach either of them. Honestly, you know, Linkin Park's a cool band, and they would have been probably pretty neat to have my pictures with, but you know, that's not necessarily anything I wanted to bug anybody about. So you know, that was pretty cool, getting to see him, see Mike and see Chester, but you know, it was a very, very crowded event because I mean, it seems like everybody and their mother drove out from LA to go do this. You know, originally when I had booked this, I didn't realize it was the Billboard Music Awards. I had just like booked a hotel room. It was months and months ago because I was going with my brother. I say that metaphorically. He's just been my best friend since like forever, so I call him my brother. You know, I've been looking forward to this vacation for months, and then when we actually show up, then you know, it's just crowded as all hell, and we realized, yeah, it's the Billboard Music Awards this weekend. So we start, you know, starting to examine everything, and we realize, you know, just like there's like record producers left and right. Everybody's just like kind of like going in and out of conference rooms that I don't have a badge to, and you know, I felt suddenly like I was left out of something, and it made me feel kind of bummed out because usually when you're in Vegas, you're the royalty, and now all of a sudden every celebrity in the music industry was like in the same hotel as me. So anyways, we were dealing with some big guns right there, but anyways, as the music awards unveil, we decide, you know, like, hey, you know, this is going to be an all-weekend event. Maybe we should go hit the strip club tonight. Now, this is where the story gets a little bit scandalous, but you know what? I'm just going to talk about it right now because one of the things that we always do when we go to Vegas, we always go to the strip club. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. Like I said, there's the hotel, but I mean, going to Vegas and doing all the things we do in Vegas is my favorite thing in the entire world. Oh, strippers, I love them. Jesus, this thing will not let me go through photos, will it? There we go. Up, left and right. All right, so that's the picture I was looking for right there. That's me and my girlfriend. My girlfriend is a really, really sweet lady. That's all you need to know about that. She is just adorable, and we've been together for several years. We live together. Honestly, this lady is the love of my life right here. She makes everything a lot better. I'm going to stop talking about mushy shit so you don't go into a diabetic coma. But yeah, this lady and I went down to the strip club, and we usually have a great time when we go down there because I don't know what it is, but girls just love the holy shit out of my girlfriend. I mean, girls who work at like clubs and stuff like that. My girlfriend just has a great fashion sense. She has like a real great appreciation for like girls who work hard, she hustlers, so to speak. So they just like usually get along right away. And usually when we go down to the strip club, we have like a really good like relationship with everybody who's there because, you know, we're usually going on the weekend or the weekdays. I realized this is our huge flaw in the whole thing. I realized because, you know, as many rules as we've learned like going in previous years, this time I realized that we had gone on the weekend, and we had also gone on the biggest weekend apparently in Las Vegas pretty much for a long time. So we were dealing with heavy hitters in the room. No one was really paying attention to us, and everybody was throwing thousands of dollars around like it was just like, you know, like Doritos out of the bag or something like that. They were just like, you know, throwing it away pretty much. And, you know, we still had really good luck that night with like everything that we did. We didn't spend that much money and still got, you know, a fair amount of attention. But let me tell you, we're used to getting everything in the entire world, including probably like, you know, a private show later. Ooh, I didn't just say that, did I? Yes, I did. Okay, so anyways, that's usually how it goes. But tonight we were just dealing with such heavy hitters with so much money, and the room was so full that it was just like not even worth it. And we kind of went home empty-handed, and it made me feel disappointed. And then to top it all off, then the next day when I finally was ready to go sit by the pool and just kind of like mope about the fact that, you know, the weekend wasn't quite going how I usually wanted to go. Oh, and by the way, I also sat down at the blackjack table, and let me admit, I'm not a great blackjack player because I had only like started training with it on my phone recently. So, you know, like when I'm playing blackjack, I thought that I had a pretty good sense of like, you know, what's right and what's wrong. I thought, you know, it's kind of logical, but I didn't realize that, you know, like when it comes to house odds or what is that called? The house advantage. That's right. So when you're talking about the house advantage, one of the things to think about with that is that they usually post on the table what the house advantage is. They'll post like, you know, it's like 0.5% or whatever. But if you don't know how to play blackjack, like I didn't know like the official like player's guide rules that like dictate like, you know, absolutely what to do in various scenarios. And this is apparently well-known stuff. They posted on like Las Vegas gaming websites. Like these are like the player knowledge rules or whatever, you know, the standardized like methods for blackjack. blackjack. If you don't know that, your percentages go anywhere from like 2 to 5% house advantage. Now, why is that important? Because the longer you play, the more the house advantage works in their favor, so they just get more and more of your money the longer you play. So if you're playing 3 hours, for example, and you have a 5% house disadvantage, you are going to probably lose all your money no matter what. And the house just knows that no matter what, as long as you play, there's a 5% advantage that they get no matter what every time. So that's something that I didn't really realize, and I started reading more into this whole blackjack thing, and I realized, there really are like specific ways to play if you want to get that 0.5% chance of the house advantage being that low. So anyways, I learned all that the hard way. I lost about $170, and I was kind of pissed about that. It's not the end of the world. I had fun. I played a few hours, and ultimately I came up some, I lost some, but now I realize how the house advantage rule works, so I had to learn a $170 lesson, let's put it that way. But then anyways, the final day, I was ready to sit out by the cabana, just, soak up all the sun and have that day that I was talking about. And then, I get down there and we call it about 10:57, and they tell us that they cancel reservations at 11. Despite the fact that we called it 10:57, they just canceled our reservation because we didn't show up right at 10. They just gave our cabana away to somebody else. I was heartbroken. It was just, by that point, I was just like, this weekend is ruined. It was kind of a bummer. And then, of course, when we go and hang out by the pool for a few minutes, there's nothing anywhere. Some celebrity has already like taken the place that we were supposed to have. I don't even know. It looked like Bruno Mars, but what do I know? I'm not going to take pictures of everybody at the pool. So somebody else got our cabana, and I just I drove home from Vegas pretty much with my tail between my legs. It was just kind of a sad time. But you know what? That's the thing about Vegas. Vegas shows you hopes and dreams beyond your wildest imagination. And sometimes that comes true. Sometimes you win all those bets. Sometimes you take 2 strippers home. Sometimes you, have just like a perfect night. But sometimes you lose all your money. Sometimes you go home empty-handed. And sometimes you walk home thinking, what happened to that Las Vegas dream? Well, that's what happens. It's a crapshoot, absolutely. And that's where the expression comes from. It comes from Las Vegas, baby. So that was the Las Vegas experience. We got to see some cool celebrities. Overall, the weekend was kind of a disappointment because I was dealing with some heavy hitters and I didn't have invitations to the Billboard Music Awards. But you know what? Vegas is an interesting place. There's always things that can happen to your advantage, or maybe you'll just get fucked in the end. Either way, it's a lot of fun. And I don't think that anybody knows that better than some of our musical artists that we're going to be playing today. And I'm going to start with one of my favorite bands from Las Vegas because I've been in touch with the lead singer for so long, Daniel from EDMF. He is actually, he had a show in Los Angeles, and unfortunately I'd missed that too. That's the other bummer about all this, because about 6 months ago I'd booked this hotel room, and I thought that Daniel's show was at the end of the month. As it turns out, it was pretty much like the 3rd weekend instead of the 4th. So by a miscalculation, I missed that show too. But Daniel assures me that it was great. He showed me some pictures. He was hanging out with the guys from 9 Electric, which is awesome. And yeah, there was some other cool stuff that went down at the Viper Room as well. So thank you for keeping me in touch with all that, Daniel. And I'm glad to hear your LA experience was a success. Let's go ahead and play their track right now. I'm going to play one that I actually have never played by from them at all, but it's a great song. I was listening to it earlier, and it is called Toxic. Now, Toxic is really like an awesome song. You're going to love it. And yeah, you can check it out right here on Crimson Media Radio. Check it out.
fix, the more you can resist, the more holes in the road, the more that you insist on more. And you want more, you want more. It's just like a fix, the more you can resist, the more holes in the road, the more that you insist on this. Take you, break you, all the things that make you never get enough to finally break through. Take you, break you, all the things that make you never get enough to finally break through this. And you want more, and you want more, you want more. It's just like a fix, the more you can resist, the more holes in the road, the more that you insist on more. And you want more, you want more. It's just like a fix, the more you can resist, the more holes in the road, the more that you insist on this.
And that was Toxic by EDMF. I'm pulling that up on their band page on Facebook right now because that's the only way that I had access to that song. But that was an awesome track. I love it. Super cool. I want to really branch out with EDMF's tracks so everybody can hear the whole catalog. Make sure that they know that they are not a one-hit wonder, son. These guys have tracks for days. And Daniel is really like one of the hardest working people I see on social media. Honestly, this guy is like always posting videos of himself playing guitar, always singing, always like doing like 4-panel things where he plays like every single instrumental in a song. It's really cool, and honestly that's what I think like content creation is all about nowadays, is you really have to like take advantage of that kind of stuff. You have to be the kind of person who's always posting, or at least like keeping regular contact with your fans, and so they can see what you're up to, what you're writing. If your life becomes your process, then you're never going to be far away from your art, and then therefore you can start working that kind of stuff towards a business or whatever you want to do, really. So Daniel's a great example of that, and more power to him. We're going to play some more songs by them throughout the show, by the way. This is Sleeve, Crimson Media Radio. Thank you for tuning in once again. We're at about 8:24 right now here in Pacific Standard Time. Sorry, I'm a big Family Guy fan. In one episode, Brian the dog is dating this bimbo, and she says, yeah, it's on Eastern and Pacific time. Don't you mean Pacific? No, I think they mean it's on specifically at 9:30. That's not what I'm talking about here. It is specifically 8:24 in Pacific Standard Time. Once again, we are doing the Las Vegas special, and that's why we're focusing on Vegas bands this week. And that's why EDMF was a great choice. And also another band called Lennon Midnight is a band we're going to be focusing on. Lennon Midnight is a really, really cool act. And you're going to hear them. But just warning, as soon as I put on their tracks, just get ready to turn down the speakers a little bit because it is loud. They bring it very, very loud indeed. And I love their music as well. But most of the music that I play on here, I love anyways, There's not a lot of reason to hate the music that I would play on my own show. So anyways, I wanted to go over some other Vegas things. I talked about the Billboard Music Awards a little bit. And like I said, there were a lot of really, really high rollers in the room everywhere where I went. Usually, wherever I go, I can get by just on my charisma alone. But when you're dealing with the flashiest musicians in the business, and you're also dealing with, just about like the biggest high rollers, executives in the entire world, pretty much, that's what I was dealing with. You get kind of overshadowed there. No matter, Vegas shows you all sorts of things. But what I did realize this time when I was playing is that I kind of suck at blackjack, but not for long. Now, blackjack was an interesting game because I was sitting down there and I was playing with some other people, and I thought that the whole point of having, the gambling and being successful at it was being patient enough to, like, overcome, like, the bad hands or something like that. Okay, well, I lost this hand and I lost that hand, but, I came up with a few hands too, so maybe I should do this. Honestly, the more I've read about statistical odds and the chances you have of winning, the longer you play, the more money you're going to lose. So, honestly, the best shot that you have when you're going to the casino is to play in small bursts and then, gamble higher amounts. People who do that generally have won the most amount of money. Now, there's no system or science to just doing this perfectly, obviously, because no matter what, it's a crapshoot. That's what you're doing. But the longer you play, that's when the casino makes the most amount of money. Now, think about this. When you see them like going around handing drinks out and stuff like that, why do you think that they're doing that? Because you're getting plastered, you're getting frustrated, you want to win that money back. So then you start spending more money to get that money back. And it's a whole cycle right there. But the point is, the longer you play, the more the house advantage starts to work. I mean, this is just like formulaic. No matter what, the house advantage has a tilt. And it's even worse in games like roulette. But blackjack, like I said, if you know how to play blackjack, it's about 0.5, I think, is what the house advantage is, which is relatively small. And if you're playing high stakes games, you can actually come up, but you still are lucky when you do it. So as opposed to somebody who plays forever and thinks that they can win it back, that mentality never works, I've realized. So that's one thing that I definitely learned over this trip. And blackjack, by the way, is something that I've been training on for a while now, and I feel like it's nothing that I can ever go and clean casinos out with yet or anything like that. When you're working against the house generally wins is the point. Excuse me. Sorry, I ate some strawberries. That brought that up. So anyways, yeah, the point is the longer you play, the more the house wins. So try your best to strategize like rounds. And if you lose the amount of money that you brought in your bank, then just let it go. Don't try and like recoup it through hours of playing. What you got to do is you got to bring like $500, strategize that between like, I don't know, 5 to 10 games. And then honestly, even if you don't if you want to have fun just playing, if you do have a fun time, then spend like $400 on the fun and then spend $500 on the true like gambles, like 5 good gambles with $100 each. You'll have a much better chance of coming up on top with that. And that's what most people do, honestly, who are successful in the casinos. So anyways, that's just a few tips if you've ever lost tons and tons and tons of money. All this stuff is pretty much like, backed up by professional gamblers by this point. Not that I know too many of those, but I am a big fan of Dan Bilzerian. So Dan Bilzerian, if you're ever watching this show, please take me to party with you sometime. My girlfriend and I would love you forever. Anyways, I'm going to move on to Lennon Midnight now. Lennon Midnight actually just sent me all their tracks. So let me make sure that this is loaded up right here. Cool. So they have The Savior. Let's go ahead and click on this one. Perfect. It works. All right. So now that we got this working, I'm going to go ahead and play The Savior, which is the next Lennon Midnight song here on Crimson Media Entertainment. Thanks for listening. And here is the next Las Vegas band of the hour, Lennon Midnight. And this track is called Savior Part 1, The Prayer. Check it out.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Hail, Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy, hail our life, our sweetness, and our hope. To thee do we cry, poor banished children of Eve. To thee do we send up our sighs, mourning and weeping in this valley of tears. Turn then, most gracious Advocate, thine eyes of mercy towards us, and after this our exile, show unto us the blessed fruit of thy womb, Jesus. O clement, O loving, O sweet Virgin Mary, pray for us, O holy
And that was Lennon Midnight. So that was a pretty brutal track right there, guys. I like all the samples in it. That was definitely cool. Thanks for sending that to me, by the way. I just barely got that on time, so I was able to get that in the show. But yeah, that's a great new album. I really dig it. You know, I've been listening to their music for a little bit now because they've contributed a bunch of it to the show, and I loved all of it. But their new stuff with all the samples, I mean, it's really creepy. And it's really, I think that the whole like Mother Mary kind of stuff, all the religious invocation and whatnot is very, very appropriate and very cool. So good job, guys, and keep on sending me your stuff. I'll try and get through more of this album on future shows. I promise you that. And by the way, for future shows, we are going to try and bundle bands more together in the appropriate genres. I really want to start playing bands that are more like, like rock with rock. I want to play country with country. I want to play jazz with jazz. I couldn't do that at first because I was just getting the show started, but now that I have, a fair amount of music submitted and people have been contributing to the community, I think that it's going to be easier to appropriately, set up the shows so that the right kind of artists are playing with the right kind of artists. And I don't want to make that sound genre-ist, I want everybody to be able to play and interact with whoever. But that really is going to be a focus. I want to make sure that I hone in on getting the right kind of artist connected with the right kind of artist. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Gonna stop beating that horse over the head. My name is Sleeve, and this is Crimson Media Radio, special Las Vegas edition once again. Now, like I said, the Las Vegas scene was very, very brutal to us this time, but there was one really cool thing that I got out of that, and that was this little beauty right here. Not that little beauty. That little beauty. That was something that I got from the bar that was called Old Blue Eyes. Now, what's so awesome about Old Blue Eyes is that, you can see this is, any guesses yet? No, nobody can interact. All right, so the whole thing is this is a old-fashioned, but it is made with Sinatra whiskey. And the Sinatra Select whiskey was some of the most delicious whiskey I'd ever drank in my life. Honestly, completely satiated me on every single level that alcohol can do that. With this nice orange peel right here. I think there was like some other fruit, like just a little bit, the old-fashioned formula. I honestly didn't. I think they left the blueberries out of this one. Thank God. I hate that shit. But anyways, the whole thing is that one right there was the best old-fashioned I'd ever drank in my whole life. For the low price tag of $35. But I had to drink one. I mean, come on. That was just like too good of a drink to ignore. So anyways, that was one of the highlights, and I'd like to go over a few highlights. I don't feel like that was like a total shit show over there in Las Vegas. One of the other things is that I feel like I looked pretty fly when we were going out. Right now I'm kind of wearing a hat and just like covering up because, I feel like I look like Tim Pool right now. No offense, Tim Pool, you're a cool guy. But yeah, I just had to, kind of get my beaters on, despite the fact that I'm wearing the Lannister colors right here. Game of Thrones, can't wait, July. But yeah, but when I was out, this is what we were looking like right here. Super fly. Trying to look my best anyways when we went out, and we did look spectacular at all the clubs that we went to. We were garnering tons and tons of attention, like we always do. And the other cool thing about it is that when we did the final day, we were able to actually go to the gun range. I don't have the clips from that this week, but I'm going to be able to show that to you next week. That was a ton of fun. Honestly, like I used to not really be like pro Second Amendment, probably just for like more like media reasons more than anything. But now that I've actually had a chance to dig into like certain types of guns and just enjoy, it's really been super fun. Just for tactical reasons anyways. Like I said, I don't advocate like harming anything in any way or threatening or intimidating anyone, but honestly, like just for tactics and fun, just like having like an AR with a scope and a laser on it, shooting down like targets at a certain amount of range, so much fun. And Las Vegas has lots of great shooting ranges, so if you're into that kind of thrill seeking, highly recommend checking it out. I can't remember the name of the place though, because they're pretty much a dime a dozen. Sorry, and no one's paying me to drop any names anyways. You can find a shooting range in Las Vegas. They're everywhere. Also, I want to show you a view from our hotel room right here, which was also kind of cool. We were staying at the Aria, and we had a beautiful strip view. So anyways, it was really great to have that just outside of our window at all moments. definitely enjoyable there. And yeah, that was probably the highlight of everything, was just getting like that kind of a cool room. I mean, as soon as I got in, you could see I was just super situated right there, just, you know, laying out in my vacation beaters and what have you. And yeah, then what else was there? There was also, oh yeah, the spa, that's right. Now at the spa at the Aria, that was actually a pretty legit spot. Once again, the good things about Las Vegas is what I'm talking about. The spa at Aria was pretty cool. They had a salt room there. Have you ever seen one of those salt rooms where they have like the lamp on top of the big pile of salt, and it helps salinate like your breathing, so it kills impurities in your air passages? It looks like this pretty much. Yeah, there's me just enjoying the good life right there. And yeah, the salination really helps like clear up your lungs. It's really cool. And it was a lot of fun to just like relax in the spa. Plus, finally, for the first time ever, I found a co-ed spa, so me and my girlfriend can finally like hang out together in the healing pools. We don't have to be separate but equal and all that bullshit. We were finally able to spend some quality time together at the spa. Thank God. So that was really like cool. And also the spa overlooked all of the, they have these things called day clubs where people pretty much just like wear swimwear and hang out by the pool and try and look buff and hot, or, you know, in the girls' cases, they wear like little skimpy bikinis and just like, you know, shake their booties to all the hip hop songs down there and stuff like that. So we had a great view, and it was kind of fun to people watch down there too. You know, every time that I look at people at like, you know, the Las Vegas party scene, you know, I actually saw a few male rompers out there. Ugh. Yeah, that was not pretty. You know, I wish I had taken some more documentation of that, but honestly, like, I was usually away from my phone. I just wanted to relax. But, you know, the male romper is pathetic. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this on the show, because when I saw that, all I got the impression of was that you were ready to give somebody chlamydia, you were ready to tip 5%, and you were ready to throw up after 3 shots of whiskey. You know, yeah, I saw that on a meme, but that's absolutely 100% true. That's what that crew looks like when they're all wearing those male rompers. It just looks like they're ready to give everybody the herp, and then they're ready to just like do all sorts of douchey shit. So anyways, that was not pretty. When you're going to Vegas, don't wear a male romper. Just wear, like, you know, your classic cool clothes. Try and look good, folks. I mean, it's not hard. It's really not hard. And I don't think that women think that that's amusing either. As a matter of fact, women will just think that you're probably like there for, you know, to indulge in like whatever secret fantasies you had about your friends, you know, behind everyone's backs, instead of going down, or like you say, oh, I'm going to go girls, dude. I'm going to check. No. You guys are just there to suck each other's dicks. Uh-oh, I said it. I don't have the FCC to deal with on my show, so I can say whatever the fuck I want, fortunately. And that's what it seems like. Anyways, we're going to be moving right along. And now my show's never going to get picked up by terrestrial, but I think I've dug my own grave in what I say in this show several times already. And that's the whole point of it. So what we're going to do here is we are going to continue with one of EMDF's videos that I've already played on the show, but it's a really great video, and it's cool because it's directed by Ron from 9 Electric, and this video really has like a, you know, surreal feel, special effects, the song's awesome. I played it before. If you've already seen it, I apologize, but if you haven't, this is another band straight from Las Vegas, and this video is directed from Ron and 9 Electric here in Los Angeles. This one is called Lost in a Dream, playing you here at Crimson Media Radio.
In a dream where nothing's what it seems. Just tell me that this isn't real. Must be someone out there who knows just how I feel. Can't be the only one that feels this pain.
That was Daniel Lost in a Dream, and that is EDMF from Las Vegas, Nevada. Two great bands, Lennon Midnight and EMDF. They're the two bands who have written me from Las Vegas. If you're in the Las Vegas area, by the way, please write me if you want to have your songs played on the show. Like I said, this whole show is dedicated to local music. I try to babble over through some of it and amuse you guys because, we all need a DJ to, segue between songs. But ultimately, this whole show is just about trying to play local music. And I want to play more music videos, do more band interviews, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's really important to me that everybody who wants to be heard on here gets to be heard. So, I really try to write back everybody who I can. Sometimes shit gets lost in the sauce, and I apologize for that because, it's a kind of a tough gig just running everything from Crimson Media just by myself. But I'm not complaining about it. It's very satisfying, and I love doing it. But like I said, as a consequence, a few things get lost occasionally. So bear with me on some of the friction there. I'm trying to work out as much as I can. And like I said, if you contribute to the Patreon when it goes up, then we will be able to hire more staff members to help handle the load and also get some more content out there. So you guys can have lots and lots of great stuff. You'll know about every local band who's out there, and we'll have a really good, way to spread out the love and keep the platform strong. Once again, I'm Sleeve, Crimson Media Radio, and we're coming towards the top of the hour, which means that the show is almost over since I don't have a guest interview this week. But I did want to mention who next week's interview is going to be with. It's going to be with Jimmy Trigger. He is from A Trigger Within and the Trigger Man podcast. He's a really funny guy, really cool guy. He's I believe he's into UFC. He's Irish, I believe, and he is a great singer as well. And there's all sorts of cool stuff that I wanted to talk to him about. He's confused by the current political landscape, it sounds like, in America, and I'm not, surprised by that at all. So maybe I can help him understand from an American's perspective about what the fuck's going on and, what I think about it anyways. And also, just hopefully just about music, because I don't like to keep it too much about politics, but I'm sure he'll have a few things to say about that. Once again, we are going to be finishing the day off with some more songs by EMDF and Lennon Midnight. But once again, thank you for listening today. Like I said, the Las Vegas special was supposed to be more focused on the Las Vegas Billboard Awards, but like I said, I didn't really know that was going on until I had actually shown up. I was originally just going for vacation. If I had known, I would have planned for the show to be a lot more focused around that. Next year, guys, next year, I promise you. All right, so finally, we're going to end the show tonight with Lennon Midnight, who's just released their new album, and they sent me the whole thing right here. It's a really great one. I've been enjoying everything. It looks like a lot of these things come in two parts, so I'm going to try and play this appropriately because it says Occultist and Destructor, and each one of those is in two parts, so let's see how that one goes. But this is Lennon Midnight. Go ahead and check them out on Facebook. I'm going to post the link for them as well on the wall. And once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in for a Monday night last-minute podcast, just so everybody can see what was going on with the week. Everybody can know what went on with the Billboard Music Awards, and everybody can know that Vegas doesn't always go perfectly, but you always got to keep your resolve strong, son. And you know what? I have a better gambling strategy for future endeavors. Also wanted to thank my little kitty cat right here. Oh, look at that little face. That is just adorable. Little baby. I mean, that guy's just passed out. He just loves music. I've been playing loud music all day, and he hasn't even budged. He's a cat who truly loves music, trust me. All right, so we're going to go ahead and play this now, and I'm going to stop talking about my cat because that's not what the show's about, is it? That's just silly. But yeah, once again, thanks for tuning into Crimson Media Radio. This is Lennon Midnight, and we're going to be playing The Occultist here on Crimson Media Entertainment, the radio station hosted by me, Sleeve. Have a good night, ending strong with this tune.
What Seaton did in November 1590 proved to James that the devil and his witches were alive and well in Scotland. argued that witches existed and that they worked for the devil. It was a legal manner for the hunting and executing of witches. dispatch in post this following treatise of mine, and the purpose of it is to resolve the doubting hearts of men.